Welcome on back and gather round, gang. It's time for some more Total War Warhammer 3. This time, we are here with patch 6.3 a bit early to show you all the new blessed spawning units that have been added for free for everyone once patch 6.3 does release. Just so you all are aware, this is going to be a development in progress build supplied to me by CA. So huge thank you to them for allowing me to get access to this and show you all early. Also, I will give a shout out to the devs that actually stayed a little bit late to get a hot fix out for us because there were some issues with the patch. They are going to allow that basically allows us to get campaign footage and a lot of good stuff with the unusual locations where those would have been broken before. So thanks to you all for getting that done before heading on out for your weekend. You all are the best. So let's get to showing off what the new units are. So we've got a heap, as you can see here, a heap of new blessed spawning units. We are actually going to start with the chameleon stalkers. So you can see very easily the difference between them is going to be, I'd say, fairly obvious. They start with 90 models. We'll pull up our info screen too as well. So they've got 90 models to start with some fairly decent stats. Chameleon Stalkers are a great tier 2 sneaky shock infantry. The blessed version is going to be crazy. So these guys are going to have 32 models. So they're going to act much more like a kind of ascended champion. So they are a much more elite version of the others. So instead of, you can see their combat stat changes here, it's showing the exact pluses. There we go. So greatly increased combat stats, greatly increased leadership, and a heap more missile strength just because there's not as many of them, so 100 damage per shot. They also are going to have more ammunition and a bonus versus infantry of 15. So these guys are monsters. They're basically Lizardmen exalted champions or aspiring champions. Just with a few less models and obviously way less armor, but I cannot wait to get these guys into the battlefield. Next up, we have between our normal skink cohort javelins here and the new skink cohort javelins that are blessed. Look at these guys. The difference being that your blessed variant is going to have double the ammunition and also have armor sundering and armor piercing javelins. So no longer will they be throwing kind of pool noodle javelins at the enemies. These things are proper mean and will also just weaken them for your other lizardmen to rip in to their foes. I'm really excited to get to using these. And next up, we've got our ripperdactyl riders. We're going down the line here. So ripperdactyl riders normally are pretty terrifying, good at blending through infantry. They die in a hurry if you leave them in combat, though. So what makes them different from the blessed version is the blessed guys are going to have more health, more armor, a little bit more melee attack, and then devastating flanker, allowing them to rip apart anything that they dive into, as long as they're flanking them much faster. They also have a slightly different color scheme than your normal guys. They've got like this much more neon look. They also kind of look like they're mutated a bit. What's going on there, lads? No, not mutated. They just have a really ornate scale pattern there on one arm. I do love that they up the tint on all the Lizardmen. It makes them look so much better. So that your ripperdactyl riders now are going to have a devastating flanker, making them really good at dropping any kind of infantry that is already engaged or just chasing down pretty much anything on the map. Next up, we got the Power Fist Croxagors, which naturally are a very good infantry unit, very good smashing monsters infantry unit. Got the good old Power Fists gauntlets of Sotek. The blessed version is going to have a shield around them, so they are going to have a 360 missile block chance. And it's going to be not a small one either. They're going to have a silver shield, so if you were going to try to shoot Croxagor to death, which is how you normally drag them down, these are going to laugh at you the whole way. They will still take damage, but that's a 360 silver shield, so they are going to be much tankier in the face of missiles, and they should cut out a bit of my dirtle. They'll just simply be much better against any of the factions you're normally facing as the Lizardmen that are going to wither you down with missiles, which is fantastic, and it makes these guys much more terrifying. Moving on down the line, we are moving to the pterodon riders, where the normal variant is going to look like so. They have the same kind of it almost looks like a plague on their arm. And then the blessed variant is much more red if you're playing as the cult of Sotek. So normal pterodon riders are what they are. They drop rocks. They're just fine. They're best if you're playing as tic-tac-toe. The blessed version, though, is actually quite incredible. So they actually gain bonus versus infantry, a little bit of speed, which 20 additional speed when they're already up to 90 is no small amount. So 20 more speed. They will also blind enemies when they hit them in melee. So they charge in, and I guess they've got flashlights in one hand, and you will be losing 24 melee attack and defense and accuracy, 30 accuracy whenever they strike you, which is honestly quite good. It'll make the pterodons capable of swooping in and winning in fights where normally they swoop in and they're like, yeah, we've got the upper hand, and they just die quickly, and it's quite sad. They have 20 bonus V infantry, so hunting down missile units or just other infantry that are engaged in combat is going to be very, very effective. And I don't think they've got anything else going on other than just blinding guys and having more speed and bonus infantry, which is incredible. Oh yes, they've got a little bit more health too, so 530 more health than your normal pterodon riders, which is going to be the case across most of Blessed. They have a little bit more health than your normal units. Moving on to the Razordon hunting pack, the units that I try to make work. I love how they look, but I can never make these guys work right. Much more bright, vibrant reds on their spikes now, so the normal variant, armor-piercing, missile strength, armor-piercing weapon, they're pretty decent. And then the other variant is going to have, let's come on over here to them, they've got the green spikes, and they are going to have Wreathed in Thorns passive, so anytime people are striking them in melee, or any units are striking them, they are going to be reflecting a lot of that damage on back. 14 is actually quite high. They have the same, looks like the same amount of missile strength and everything, a little bit more armor, and then a bit more health as well. And then, and that's not enough, they also are going to have Snipe and a Stalk, so they can sneak right up on your units and then unleash a withering hail of armor-piercing missiles, making these Razordon proper ambush hunters. I think this is going to be all of these Blessed units having this touch-up is going to make fighting the Lizardmen or fighting against the Lizardmen a pain, and playing as them a whole heap of fun. On to the Salamander hunting pack, my favorite. These guys look a little bit strange, don't they? Kind of a mustard yellow. Either way, they've got flaming attacks normally, weapon strength that is armor-piercing, and anti-large missiles. The Blessed variant is actually going to be trading a little bit of that missile strength, gaining a little bit of health, and then trading that missile strength. Instead of being anti-large, it shall be anti-infantry with a hefty 30 bonus, so they are going to obliterate infantry squads instead of the previous, which is you can kind of layer these guys up. You got some for your anti-large, you got some for your anti-infantry, and everyone is going to suffer. Moving on to the big Blessed boys. Blessed Element Ancient Salamander. We're going to combine those words together. They're very good, just the little salamanders, but a single entity and pretty much better in every way. A huge damage across the board, lots of ammunition, and then their missiles are going to make enemies weaker to fire, so the next shots will be dealing 20% more damage. Fantastic. The Blessed variant, of course, has more health, and then is going to have the Aura of Immolation. War is the crucible that melts all things and increases the weakness to fire by an additional 20%, so that's 40% total once he's hit someone with his missiles. So it just is going to, it's going to make everyone suffer in the face of fire. I would put these guys with a Fire Slan and a whole bunch of other salamanders and just watch the enemy weep. Lastly, we have the Ancient Stegodon, and their very colorful Blessed variant, which I'm absolutely here for. So the normal version is going to have a ballista that's shorter range, but has an 8-shot volley. I think most people don't tend to upgrade to the Ancient Stegodons just because they lose as much range as they do, and they don't have armor piercing on their missiles. But we will see what changes when you switch over to the Blessed variant. They get a bit more melee attack, change their weapon strength to anti-large, so naturally they have 18 bonus V infantry. When Blessed, they have 30 bonus V large, making this a great hunter of elites. Does it have more gold on its tail? No, it's got the same amount. Does it even have even more? That's why it's taken down big targets. The great big gilded Ankylosaurus bone. And then its ballista has these slow death effects. They're starting to add more and more damage over time. Love to see it, but this is going to be a nightmare. 11 to 12 damage per second on anyone you hit. You just want to keep basically bopping this around, letting it hit multiple targets. Just keep switching it every time it hits something, and that's going to keep that slow death circulating and people withering away in the face of your lizards. Should be a ton of fun. Let me know, though, in the comments which of these new Blessed variants is your favorite, or do you still prefer one that was already in the game? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. My favorite, I think, out of all of these is probably going to end up being honestly, the Blessed Ancient Salamander. I do love damage over time effects, and I can't wait to see this in effect with some of our healing effects. So we're basically becoming a Lizardman version of Nurgle, which I'm 100% here for. Thanks for stopping on by. Appreciate you. See you all in the next one.